Retro.
Hi, this is Fred Tatasciore, and you're listening to Dennis and Jay on Podcast Stardust. The Force is strong with both of them.
Bright Sun Star Wars fans, and welcome to Podcast Stardust, the fully armed and operational podcast dedicated to Star Wars news, reviews, and discussion. I'm Jay Krebs.
And I am Dennis Keithley.
And we are getting ready to jump into this month's special Star Wars fashion and lifestyle feature here on Podcast Stardust. But before we do, Dennis, can you remind everyone where we can be found on social media?
All right. The best place to find us is on Instagram at Podcast Stardust. Jay's doing a great job keeping up with our posts there. And then the second best place, which I am doing a miserable job of keeping us up to date on, is Facebook, also at Podcast Stardust.
Give yourself a little bit more credit, Dennis. You're doing great. All right.
You're generous in saying that.
The dish is aligned, the signal is boosted to maximum output, the shield is down, and we are now broadcasting to the galaxy. So as I just mentioned, today we're bringing you our special monthly feature called World Between Worlds, a mystical dimension that connects Star Wars fashion and lifestyle products to your space and time. So if you are new to this segment, or if you need a reminder, the goal is to bring you a wide variety of ideas for products to surround you, outfit you, and bind your style sense together, kind of like the Force. And it's hard to believe we're in the back to school season. Fall is approaching, and soon we'll be hopefully enjoying some fall sports again. I know some of the preseason stuff we've been talking about here, and so we're jumping into that, and hopefully some cool weather. I know for you, Dennis, it's been miserable, so
yeah,
hopefully you'll get a reprieve from that. But this month's feature will highlight some fun things to help you sport your Star Wars style in lots of different ways. But before we get to all of that, Dennis and I always recap any new Star Wars products we've acquired, any updates on current items we own, and so on. So, Dennis, anything new or any updates that you have in your neck of the galaxy?
No, nothing new. I did notice a couple of weeks ago, I was grilling one night and I was using my Mandalorian knives from Hedley and Bennett, while wearing my Boba Fett inspired apron from Hedley and Bennett and drinking a cocktail out of a Star Wars themed wine glass.
Nice.
Like, I got the Star Wars stuff going on here right now. So all those things were gifts from my wife. So, as I've said in the past, she does a great job of supplying me with my many things that are my Star Wars collection. And yeah, it's nothing new. I acquired the bulk of the Star Wars stuff I'm going to get for a while back in June when I had a birthday and Father's Day and the like. But, when we get closer to Christmas, I'm sure there'll be something else around then, but if not before then. But yeah, nothing new for me. But how about you?
Yeah, absolutely. And before I jump into that, I just have to say, it's funny how we sometimes take for granted how much Star Wars permeates our everyday lives. So I appreciate the fact that you just paused and said, I am decked out,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
which is awesome. So I did have my birthday last month in July. So I was gifted a couple of items. So my son and his wife got me a big surprise too. And it's beautiful. The Loungefly Darth Vader floral mini backpack. And when I unwrapped it, I was just gushing over it right away. And the first thing my son says was, "This looks like you, Mom." So, and I appreciated that. It is a really fun twist on the dark side. So it's a cream colored faux leather bag, and it has a subtle debossed Vader helmet on the front and like this burgundy. And it's got some embroidered floral details underneath the helmet, and it's got gold tone hardware. It almost looks like rose gold. And I don't know if that's because the burgundy kind of picks that up or whatever, but it has a burgundy interior as well. And it's got side pockets, an interior zip pocket, adjustable straps. So, and it's so cute, but of course it's practical as well. And it is a box lunch exclusive. It measures what their, mini backpacks normally do, which is about 8 inches by 10.5 by 4 inches. And, we always talk about working Star Wars into our everyday wardrobe. And this is a great example of that. And again, it kind of takes that take on the dark side and puts it into something floral. And I've had a bunch of this kind of stuff before anyways. I had one of my favorite pieces was this Stormtrooper tote bag that I carried around forever. I still have it in my basement because I just can't give it up. I keep thinking to myself, I'm going to repurpose this into something because the front of it is it's like a white tote with the Stormtrooper helmet and these kind of pink and purple poppies and flowers surrounding it. And I carried that thing around everywhere. That was kind of my statement piece. But the handles that are on it are literally just like rotted because I loved it very much while I used it. So again, I'm going to try to repurpose that. So stay tuned for that. But unfortunately, for this particular little backpack, Box Lunch listing shows that as out of stock, normally priced at $79.90. And I did see listings on places like eBay, Mercari, and Depop. And those are listed anywhere from $55 to $80 with a Mercari listing at over 200, which I think is ridiculous. That's like price gouging right there. So don't buy into that kind of stuff. I'm sure Box Lunch will eventually restock it, but I just love this little backpack. I haven't had a chance to use it yet. They actually got me, and I've talked about this before too, for Christmas. They got me an Ahsoka like crossbody sling in sort of this crescent shape. And I'll tell you, I get so many compliments on that because I think it's because the strap kind of looks almost like zebra stripe, because it is the stripes from Ahsoka's Leku, her Montrals. And so I don't think people realize that it's Star Wars, especially because it's gray with this brown leather bottom to it too. But I'm still carrying that one around quite a bit because it's small enough that it's a great everyday bag, but I can throw everything in it, but it's not too cumbersome and it's not too much of like a specific fashion piece. You know what I mean? And that's a very subtle Star Wars thing. So my son and his wife, they're knocking it out of the park for me with these gifts. Let me tell you.
Yeah. They're doing some very thoughtful gift giving there.
Yeah. And I was almost in tears when I opened it because I was like, oh, you guys, you know me so well. Of course, Kyle has no choice because he was brought up with Star Wars. So there's that. But my niece actually sent me, she lives in North Carolina and I'm in Ohio, but she sent me a t-shirt with Ahsoka, and it's the Ahsoka t-shirt from Target. And what I love about this one is it's a woman's cut tee. So it has a little bit more shape than a standard unisex Star Wars shirt. And it's got kind of a classic crew neckline, but it's a little bit more of a lower boat neck almost. The sleeves are more like a capped sleeve. And then it has a slightly fitted silhouette. So it's not cropped. It falls below the waist and has a little extra length, as a matter of fact. So it's not, one of those, because a lot of times the style right now for the youngins, the younglings, is those crop tops. I can't, I'm past that point in my life. I can't do that anymore. But but this one's nice because you can wear it tucked into jeans, shorts, or leave it loose for a more casual look. So the vision, or the image on the front of it is basically the poster, the key art from Ahsoka season 1, or the image that we see a lot of Ahsoka with her face just kind of looking into the camera, but it's got that Ahsoka written down the side, which now that we've got the new key art is kind of similar to that, but it has AHSOKA. So it's not all one word. It's broken up just a little bit, but then it says warrior, outcast, rebel, and Jedi. So it's a gray t-shirt. There's a block of orange with everything else in black. So I like the style because it's not just an image of Ahsoka. It's a little bit more stylized, and yet it's got some artistic flair to it as well. So you can find it on the Target website right now for $22.99, and they actually do list it in a birch color as well. So mine is the heather gray, And then the birch color is more of like a cream color. So you have your choice between either one. So I have a new Ahsoka t-shirt.
For your ever-growing collection. Yeah, it's a nice looking shirt. I really like the imagery that they use for that one.
Yeah, me too. So one thing about it is that if you do like your tees a little roomier, Target recommends sizing up since this particular shirt can run a little small. So keep that in mind. So thank you again to my relatives for hooking me up with some fun Star Wars things for my birthday. Don't know if you're listening, but hello there if you are. And then I do have one quick update, and this one is on the game Jabba's Palace. So I don't remember which edition of World Between Worlds we were talking about this, but my son and his wife, they are gamers, and when it was their baby shower, we had a question about how many games they own, and it was part of one of the games that we were playing to, give out prizes and stuff like that. And at that time, they owned 139 board games.
Ooh.
So they have an entire closet just dedicated to board games. And so there was this game called Love Letter that we played, and I fell in love with it. Ha ha ha. And so I had to get one for myself just to have here at home for game night. And when I was looking for it, I found this Jabba's Palace, which is basically just like Love Letter. So again, to give a quick update, it's specifically based on Return of the Jedi. So it puts you right in the middle of Jabba's Palace with characters and moments inspired by the movie. And my hubby, my son, and I finally sat down and played it. And I got to say, it's a winner, Dennis. It's definitely a little different from the original Love Letter game, but the basic idea is still there. And the Star Wars theme makes it so much fun. And at one point we were laughing so hard while we were playing, because of course you have to do some of the impressions and things. So we were doing like the Salacious Crumb, and we were doing like the ho ho ho, Jabba, and then you'd put down Lando and like, hello, what do we have here? So we were just laughing, and it was so much fun. And there were definitely some moments where somebody, because it's all like a strategy thing, and somebody thought they had the perfect strategy, and then everything just completely fell apart. So basically, if you're looking for something you can actually sit down and play together, I can now personally recommend this game, Jabba's Palace. It's one of those where the fun really comes from what happens around the table. Kind of what happens in Jabba's Palace stays in Jabba's Palace. So I got ours from Amazon, but it's currently out of stock there, but you can find it at Target, Walmart, and then several specialty game retailers. So the game is for 2 to 6 players. It says ages 10 and up, and one round takes about 20 minutes. I mean, if you wanted to make it last longer or play through a little bit quicker, I'm sure you probably could, but it took us about 20 minutes to get through a round. So, but yeah, highly recommend. It was a lot of fun.
Cool.
All right. So before we go any further, of course, D3 just happened, and we just had our news episode, and we talked about the little reveal by Ryan Gosling on stage, where he changed from his Mickey Mouse Club jacket to his Cade Oberon black bomber jacket. And right away, as soon as he turned around, I was like, oh, I fell in love with that upside down Rebel Starbird and the Skull and Blaster crossbone style. And I know a lot of fans fell in love with that too. I mean, this is a cool design. I don't know who came up with this, but I was like, I've never seen anything like that before. And obviously I showed it to my husband right away, and I was like, look at this. Look at this. He goes, it's a skull and crossbones. And I go, no. Look closer. Think Star Wars. He was like, oh, okay. I see it now. Of course, he wasn't exactly as excited about it as I was. But if anybody is looking for the same kind of bomber jacket that he wore on stage, I did find a couple of websites that have it, and I looked at the websites themselves to make sure that they weren't, some of those like fly by night kind of websites, and
right,
just sort of capitalizing on something hot and new. And it looks like these are both pretty legit. So the first one is Daily and Decor, and so they have it listed at $64.99, and they've got all kinds of different pictures on it. And basically, you can get whatever size from small all the way to 5XL. And so I thought that that was a pretty good actual deal. They do have free shipping on orders over $99. So if you do find something else that you know, like there, then you can definitely pick that up. But they do have a variety of different payments that they accept from, you know, your standard Visa, MasterCard kind of thing. And they do accept PayPal as well. And so this is all made in the USA, and they do have a lot of specific details on the website as well as far as what it's made out of. So it's basically 100% high grade polyester knit fabric. It's
Hmm.
a midweight jacket, and you can wear it for more style and fashion points. And it is a windproof fabric as well, with a snap closure, ribbed cuffs, waistband, collars, and side seam pockets that can be customized. So you can actually customize it as well, which I thought was cool. And then the other website that I found that has the bomber jacket replica is TD Custom Apparel. And so if you go to their website, they actually have theirs for $54.99. Theirs is a little bit different, I feel like, than the other one. Um, just in the fact that it seems like it's got a little bit, and I don't know, maybe it's just the picture itself, but it seems like the star field, that it's almost like speckled, is a lot brighter on this one than the other one. It seemed like the other one was a
Hmm.
little bit more muted, but again, that could just be the way that the picture was. But again, they have this one for $54.99, and they also accept, you know, all the usual suspects as far as payments go. And they also have the small to 5XL. So I bet it's probably the same supplier, if I had to guess, you know, kind of a thing. So it just really kind of depends upon where you want to order it from. And I did check out both of their shipping and return policies and that type of thing. And both of them do ship within about anywhere from 4 to 14 business days. So most of them do process within 7 business days, but beyond that, it usually takes another 4 business days to arrive. And that's pretty much across the board for both of those websites. So again, if anybody out there is really wanting that bomber jacket, you can pick it up at either one of those 2 places. So again, that was Daily and Decor and TD Custom Designs. And all of these links will be in our show notes, because Dennis does a great job of all that. And I tried to keep the links a little bit less this time, because I know sometimes I I go a little crazy with the links.
Yeah,
But yeah.
every couple of weeks I get an email from YouTube. It's like, your description was too long. We had to shorten it, and they're usually taking out the links anyway. But one thing I want to note real quick on those jackets,
Mhm.
if you look at the Daily Decor site, they have a picture of Ryan Gosling wearing his jacket in the background, and you can see that the sleeves on the jacket he's wearing look to be leather or a fake
Yes.
leather or something like that, as well as the lining for the pockets. And he's also got a collar that pops on this. And both of these jackets don't have those leather like features to them and have a different collar. I find it interesting that the TD Custom site, they got a model that's even wearing the same Disneyland cap that Ryan Gosling was wearing,
Yes.
and then a similar type of a necklace as well. Or no, I guess he's not wearing a necklace in that other picture. But at any rate, so they kind of replicate the look. But if you are looking for a true replica of it, just be aware of the differences. That's all I was going to point out.
No, I'm glad you did point that out too. So, yeah, when I said inspired, that's
Hmm.
kind of what I was alluding to, because, yeah, you're right. There's so much. And I'm sure if you got the exact one that he has, being a bomber jacket, it would probably cost you like 500 bucks, you know, with all the
Hmm.
leather details, because it's
Oh yeah.
probably all leather, of course. But I
Mhm.
do, as you were saying, the Disney cap, the blue D logo baseball cap, is also available on TD Custom Designs as well. So if you wanted to like complete your look, and you know, I don't know if you wanted to dress as Ryan Gosling for Halloween, but you could do it if you picked up both, I suppose.
I'm willing to bet you could also go to Shop Disney and find that hat. If
Probably.
yeah, he probably got it from the park. I don't know,
Yeah.
uh, but at any rate, it's I just did a quick Google search for Blue D Disneyland cap, and it's not showing me that one, but it's showing me a whole lot of caps from Disneyland that have that same type of D that Disneyland uses in their logos. That script, I should say. So
Hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, thank you
Hmm.
for doing that little bit of investigation there.
Anytime.
But yeah, absolutely. So I'm just so excited for Starfighter. I know you are too. And I just
Hmm.
can't get enough. So yeah. But if you are a crafty person, you can actually pick up from Brass Engine Studio. They dropped a free vector file. So it's like a Cricut file, an SVG file on his Patreon link. And so I was like, oh, great. Do I have to join the Patreon just to get the freebie? No, you don't, which is really cool. You just have to have a Patreon account.
Oh, cool.
So if you, yeah, so I actually downloaded it myself and I've already seen it on a few of the other cosplayer accounts that I follow on Instagram. So one specifically, and I meant to write down who exactly it was, but basically she took just a black denim jacket from a thrift store and she put the logo on the back of it and it looked great. And
Oh,
so
cool.
I was like, heck, that's a great idea. So I'm going to be hitting up my, local thrift stores to see if I can find something like that. But before I do, I'm definitely going to take some like white fabric paint and just do a little flicky flick flick so I can get the little, star field kind of thing on there as well. So stay tuned and I'll let you know if I actually get that done, or at least I want to put it on a tote bag or something like that because I think that would be super cool. So
Right.
yeah, I love that. I just think it is such a cool design. So hopefully next month I'll have an update for everybody. So there you have it. All right, so let's jump into some back to school stuff. So I was just talking about box lunch not too long ago. And so while I was on their website looking at that Loungefly backpack, I was like, I wonder if they have any back to school stuff. And lo and behold, on their homepage at the top where they have all the different tabs, if you go all the way to the right, you can click on the back to school. So I know at the point that this is coming out that most areas in the United States are already back to school. So it's a little belated in some ways, but there's always things that you can use throughout the year too. So I just felt like, well, 'tis the season. We might as well talk about it. So once you click on that back to school link, then you can choose, if you scroll down just a little bit, you can choose Star Wars from a drop down menu called Shop by License. So once you do that, then you can get into all of the fun Star Wars goods. So starting off, they have a lot of actually heroes and villains backpacks on their website as well. And they have a few different brands in addition to that. But the first three that they have are really cool backpacks from heroes and villains that range anywhere from $120 to $150. So, the one that's like the Jedi Order convertible backpack really kind of does look almost like cosplay light, from somewhere in the sands of Tatooine kind of thing. But
Hmm.
the other two look a lot more basic and functional. But they also have a lot of different backpacks from, like I said, from other companies as well as coolers. So, if you're on the go for things like lunch boxes, that's pretty cool. One thing they did have that I thought was kind of interesting, they have a Star Wars Celebration 2019 roll top cooler backpack. And it even has a bottle opener on one of the straps. If you hover over the picture, you can see the back of it on the back strap. And I was like, that's interesting. 2019 celebration. So I suppose if you didn't get your merch that you wanted from there, then you've got a piece of it here. What do you think of
Yeah.
that?
Better late than never, I suppose.
Right?
But yeah, it's 7 years ago. Okay, sure.
Right. Exactly. But it's all good. But in addition to the backpacks and coolers, they have tons of different types of stationery, fun pens, like the pens, some of them have these little like toppers that you can like on a chain so you can mess with them and that type of thing. They have all your hydration needs, so they have canteens and water bottles. There's even a Millennium Falcon desk lamp and then a variety of t-shirts to wear to school and then, PJs so that you can sport those in the dorm or, whenever you're studying at night kind of thing. And then Target also has an impressive array of Star Wars goods as well, kind of along the same lines. as what Box Lunch has. So they have, your backpacks, and even the ones that I liked on this one though is that they have what they call backpack buddies. So they're for the littles. And I just thought that that was really cute. So they have a BB-8, they have a mini Ewok backpack, they have an R2D2 backpack, and that type of thing. But what really caught my eye is that they have a few Vera Bradley outlet Star Wars bags. And so this is actually a Target kind of exclusive thing that they're doing right now through the outlet for Vera Bradley. And they have 3 different designs available. They have the Cotton Essential Large Backpack, the Hanging Travel Organizer, and an Essential Zip Wristlet. So the backpack is priced at $89. The travel organizer, which is really cool, by the way, is priced at $49, and then the Essential Zip Wristlet is priced at $19, which those are good prices for Vera Bradley stuff. So I was actually kind of impressed about that. And all 3 of them feature the Tossed Droids bandana design, is what they call it. So this is an Oliver print featuring a playful mix of iconic droids and Star Wars details. So you've got, R2D2, C3PO, BB-8, other droid imagery, and some other Star Wars symbols and other little details. So the droids are kind of scattered across the fabric in a way that feels definitely more like traditional Vera Bradley than big, obvious character graphics. So again, this is an outlet exclusive pattern, which is very cool. So the appeal is that from a distance, it looks like a colorful, whimsical pattern bag. But again, this is one of those everyday things that if you look close, you can see that it's Star Wars, and we love that kind of stuff. So
That's right. Yeah.
yeah, so that's really cool. So I was just really impressed that they had those 3 Vera Bradley choices. And again, that is at target.com. And once again, if you just search back to school Star Wars, you'll get all of the things. So did anything on either one of these? I have one specific thing I do want to point out that I thought was very unique as well on the Target website. But is there anything else that stood out to you personally, even though obviously you're not going back to school, but something that you liked?
Yeah, it's been a while since I've had to plan for back to school quite that way with teenagers and now young adults. It's gotten into more of the functional than design type of stuff there. I did like the Star Wars, The Mandalorian Bounty Hunter laptop tech padded sleeve backpack that they had on
Mhm.
that site that you listed. Even if you took off the Mandalorian pouch that's on the back of it, it would still. Oh, and they have the mudhorn on the side. That's cool. That it would be a fun backpack. But I've got a Star Wars backpack. I've got other backpacks there. But I like what they come up with these days for these things.
Oh, me too. And they're so creative every year. And I tried to find, do you remember Aaron Condren and all the stationery and things that they had for Star Wars? They have discontinued all of that, which really bummed me out. So I'm sure you could probably find it, at like eBay or whatever, but it was
Mhm.
really hard to find anything on their website. They've gone away from that license, which is kind of sad because that was a kind of a staple of back to school stuff and school supplies there for quite a while. But one more thing on the Target website that I thought was really cool is that they have these milestone t-shirts for girls, and they're a light pink, but they have like ready for the blank grade. So they have ready for the 3rd grade, for example,
Mhm.
and they have a few other grades as well. So they have 1st grade, 2nd grade, all listed there. 4th grade, may the 4th be with you, like 4th grade, which is really cute. But it's this nice little whimsical design with Grogu in a backpack, sticking his head out, and there's a couple of frogs and a little blue butterfly and a couple of Jawas, and the lettering itself is in the same kind of minty green as what they have Grogu in, and that's what says ready for the and then whatever grade, and it's sort of like a bubble style, super cute. And I was like, oh darn, this is, like I said, most kids are already back to school, but
Mhm.
I mean, why not? I mean, it's really cute, and it's $15.99 right now. It's regularly $28.99, which is probably why it's on sale because most kids are back to school now. But I
Yeah.
just thought it was awesome. So something maybe if they have it next year, and you have a little girl that
or
likes,
buy it now and save it for next year.
exactly. But they do have a first day of school blue that they call Mandalorian style, but because Grogu's on it, but it has more of a military font, all in capital letters. So it's sort of a royal blue shirt, and it says first in green, day of kind of in gray, and then school back in the green again. And they have R2D2 also kind of looking down at Grogu, and Grogu's position between day and of in the words. And then there's some green stars above and below, which again kind of lends to that military look or style, if you will, for that as well. And and boys can wear pink too, just saying, because I know my boys, they were not afraid to wear pink. But I know also that traditionally that's what pink for girls, blue for boys. But
Right.
we
Right.
can do either. But I just thought that was really fun.
Yeah.
All
Those are
right.
fun. I think
Yeah.
if you did have youngins in your life, and there's some areas of the country that they don't go back to school until after Labor Day, so it is
True.
possible that they could pick these up in time.
Yeah, some of the schools I know down in the South, my niece and her family live down there and in Georgia, and they were back August 1. It's like, wow, that's early, but everybody's different, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, the local school district here started a couple weeks ago. It was
Mm-hmm.
we're no longer having any kids that needed to go to it, but yeah, I was aware because
Yeah.
the elementary school is right around the block from my house, and so I that Monday they were all meeting the teacher, and the next day was the first day of drop off, so it was just cars all over the place. But yeah, school's back in
Mm-hmm.
session here in
Mm-hmm.
Texas.
Yep. So anyway, so if you need anything, you can hit up any of those links in our show notes. So let's switch to some football because it's football season. We've got preseason going, college is ready to start, the pros are ready to start. And I know you and I are huge football fans. So when I say
Hmm.
football, I mean American football here, in the States. So I
Yes.
found a couple websites. There's one called Homage these are off the beaten path, kind of thing. So Homage has NFL and NCAA apparel to match your fandom with mashups for just about every team. And the NCAA stuff is a little harder to find. The NFL stuff is easy because they have a drop down menu that you can go to and just pick whatever team you want. But what I liked about these is that the designs aren't generic. They lean into the local vibe of the fandom with different sayings and such. And I feel like I found a website when I was looking at these. I'm like, I know I found a site similar to this last year when we were talking about, I think, Super Bowl, or maybe it was in January when we were doing Super Bowl stuff.
Hmm.
But it wasn't Homage. So this one's different, but maybe they use the same supplier. I don't know. So of course I chose Chicago Bears for you,
Thank you.
and you're very welcome. And so so they have some of the stuff that I'm sure you've heard, storming the field, believe in the alliance, like the Bears. And
Hmm.
so they have t-shirts and hoodies and the like for that. And then they did do their best with the Browns, because the Browns do their best every year. So I had to, pay a little tribute to them too. But they have "May the Bark Be With You." They just have Yoda in front of a doghouse, which that was kind of funny. And then "You Don't Know the Power of the Browns." They don't either, apparently, but it's all good. And
That's so sad, Jay.
hey, I'm a Browns fan. I'm allowed to say that kind of stuff. But it's just funny. So they have the little dog bone, below Vader with his hand outstretched trying to use the Force. So, but at any rate, we keep our hopes up every year for the Browns because they almost always win. So
Yeah,
it's all good.
these are fun and stuff like that. I kind of wish they would have for these different shirts, and maybe it's a licensing type of a thing, or I don't know, trademarks or whatever, but leaned a little bit more into the traditions and things around the teams or whatever, because some of that stuff, like, the bark, okay, well, I get it. Browns, dogs, that's their mascot and whatever, but that's not
Mm-hmm.
really a thing for the Browns,
Right.
if you know what I'm
Right.
saying. And so I would have liked it a little bit more if they could have come up with something that was a bit more associated with these teams.
No, I totally get it. I do. But they tried, which is kind of cool. And it's unique. You don't really see these a whole lot. And if you're a Star Wars
Right.
fan and especially when they have I know baseball has a lot of Star Wars nights. Football not so much, but you know, you can still sport your Star Wars in style.
Yeah, well, when there's only 17 regular season games compared to 162 for baseball, you don't need as many
Right.
theme nights. So,
Right. This is true. So
mhm.
true. All right, and then the other one on the website, like I said, was a little harder to find, but I did find an Ohio State Buckeyes T-shirt that says, again, it has Vader with his red lightsaber, so it's a gray shirt, and then above Vader, kind of in this upside down U, you underestimate the power of and then it says Buckeyes. So again, if you like a little bit of mashup there you go. But the other thing I found that was kind of cool because we're talking about back to school, once again, back to Target. So this can work as a dorm bed throw pillow or to even accessorize your living room. Target has an NCAA throw pillow that are actually really interesting for the college dorm segment we were just discussing. Again, because they're 18 by 18 inches decorative pillows and not just a t-shirt. So they are officially licensed Star Wars products and would work nicely on that dorm bed or lounge chair for $29. So unfortunately though, they have a very limited amount of teams that you can pick from. So they have Texas Longhorns and they do have Ohio State Buckeyes. So of course I was happy to see that. USC Trojans was another one that they had. And then as far as Star Wars goes, that was pretty much all that I found. So again, very limited on that one. But if you happen to be a fan of any one of those teams, then there you go.
Yeah, yeah. So always fun to have the mashup stuff.
Yeah, it is. All right. And then one more thing for the sports stuff is if you're looking for a comfy stadium chair, this one is basically a portable recliner. It's high tech that you can carry like a backpack. So this one's from Picnic Time, and it's the Star Wars Darth Vader Ventura reclining stadium seat with back support. It's a portable bleacher floor beach chair. They say with a cushioned backpack and straps. I don't know if I'd take this one to the beach, but whatever. So it has 6 different reclining positions, padded armrests, a high density foam cushioning for both your seat and your back. It folds completely flat. It has adjustable backpack straps, a water resistant bottom. So, okay, there's your beach, and even a zippered exterior pocket for your phone, keys, or whatever else you need. And of course, it's all decked out in Darth Vader and Imperial styling. So once again, whether you're headed to a college football game, tailgate, soccer game, even camping, instead of sitting on a cold, hard bleacher, you can basically bring your own little throne. And this one is $113.99. This is cool. I wish they would have had something like this when I was sitting my butt on all of those bleachers when I was going to watch my kids in sports and in band at the half times and, you know, all of the things. Because yeah, this is awesome. It's a little big, but I'm assuming that, you know, if you have enough room to plant yourself, that it would actually be very comfy.
Yeah, arrive early, snag your spot, and use this chair for that type of thing.
Yeah, for sure. And I was thinking though that this would be the perfect thing for going to like outdoor amphitheaters and such,
Hmm.
because, you know, when you get lawn seats, and I was specifically thinking about because at Blossom Music Center, which is a real popular venue here in Northeast Ohio, they do have a John Williams tribute from the Cleveland Orchestra on I believe it's Labor Day weekend. It's the 3rd and 4th. That's Labor Day weekend, isn't it? But at any rate, I thought, oh gosh, this would be perfect to get lawn seats and then sit in this, you know, instead of just
Hmm.
sitting on a blanket. This would be perfect because they allow stuff like that at that particular venue. And I know a lot of other ones do as well. So yeah, pretty cool.
Indeed.
All right. All right. So, lastly, we're going to switch gears big time. And I've been putting these off for a couple of months because we've had so much to talk about. And I know we're also getting short on time for this episode as well. But I wanted to squeeze these in because, of course, anybody that listens to our podcast knows that I became a grandma back in March. So, I've got babies on the brain kind of thing. But so I'm always looking for some really cute Star Wars things to throw my son and his wife's way. And so there's 3 different companies that I have. First one is called Posh Peanut. And Posh Peanut says that its story began in 2011 and that its founder started by making clothing and accessories at home and selling them on Etsy before expanding into bamboo apparel. So, if you're looking for a way to get the littlest Star Wars fans outfitted for bedtime, Posh Peanut does have a pretty impressive galaxy of options. So, their collection includes some of your classic pajama seats, convertible one pieces, dresses, bodysuits, blankets, crib sheets, accessories, and even little travel cubes. And there's character specific designs featuring Darth Vader, Grogu, and R2D2, along with a Star Wars Galaxy collection. So, a lot of the appeal here is the fabric. So, they use is what they call their signature Papuk viscose from bamboo, which the company describes as soft, breathable, and comfortable for sensitive skin. And I have to tell you, Dennis, and I don't know if this is the same exact thing, but I was just introduced to bamboo washcloths. Oh my gosh, these are the softest things in the world. Have you
Huh.
ever tried any of these?
Not that I'm aware of.
It's incredible. So if this is anything like it, I'm telling you what, it's like velvet. So one particularly fun item though is their Star Wars Galaxy pajama set, which has an all over glow in the dark print, which I think is so cute. So you've got a little bit of Star Wars magic even after the lights go out. So prices currently range from about $40 to $50 for many of the kids' pajama styles, and the blankets and accessories do go a little higher. But what's cool is it's not just baby stuff. So this reminded me, a lot of some of the other types of pajama sets that you can find out there. They have women's Star Wars pajamas, so you can potentially turn bedtime into like a whole matching event. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. One of the things I feel bad for this baby in the one model for the swaddle looks a little grumpy at the time, but I do like that they've come up with a lot of different matching sets between the blankets, the crib sheets, and the pajamas. There, you can really duck it out for your new one if you want to.
Oh yeah, and there's so much to choose from anymore out there too. So, I mean, anybody that's a Star Wars fan or potentially trying to encourage Star Wars as I am, then you can definitely pick from either this company or there's another one. It's another bamboo baby clothing company called Kite Baby, and this one's KYTE. So their Star Wars collection is especially interesting because it goes beyond just pajamas and then leans heavily into baby and toddler sleepwear as well. So you've got sleep bags, swaddlers, rompers, bodysuits, bibs, toddler pajamas. The Star Wars print itself has that classic, there's like a certain kite baby look to it. And familiar elements like, of course, the Millennium Falcon, X-Wing, R2D2, lightsabers, Rebel Alliance symbol, all worked into the designs. So the long sleeve toddler pajamas are currently $42 and are available in sizes 18 to 24 months, all the way through size 12. So you can really deck out your kids for a long time with this one. They are made from 97% rayon from bamboo and 3% spandex with the breathable, stretchy feel that Kite is known for. So kind of cool timing because they launched their Star Wars collection in April and described it as a collection for the little youngling in your life. So it's new. So this is a very recent collection that was introduced. So again, if you're looking for Star Wars baby gear that's a little more subtle and fashion oriented rather than covered in giant character graphics, then Kite Baby is definitely worth checking out. And I have to give a shout out to Trisha Travels because she DM'd me personally and she said, "Hey grandma, I think you might like these."
Nice.
So that's how, yeah. So thank you, Trisha, for putting that one on our radar. So I really like this company. I haven't ordered anything from them yet, but I really, really, really like their offerings. And I just think some of especially the little boy right on the front page with his little, Darth Vader, or not Darth Vader, his little Starfield with his little ships and R2D2, and it's just a matching little, almost like a polo top with the shorts, and he's got his little hands tucked into his pockets. So stinking cute.
Yeah. Yeah, these are cute.
Yeah, definitely. And then the last one is called Little Sleepies. So another Star Wars pajamas concept running with it. So their collection is built around their signature Lunalux bamboo fabric. So everything's bamboo. And I'll get into that just a little bit more. But they do have everything from baby bodysuits to kids two-piece pajamas. One of the standout designs that I liked, it's called the Far Away Friends print, which takes classic Star Wars characters and icons and puts them into a more understated, like illustrated design. And there's also a dark side bodysuit and other Star Wars styles, so you can go from cute little baby gear to more traditional character inspired PJs. So again, it's a lot of these that are the bamboo and very, very soft. And they also have built their brand, Little Sleepies has built their brand around matching. So their broader product line includes baby, toddler, kid, and adult clothing. So once again, you can matchy. And everybody can put on Star Wars pajamas and have a Star Wars movie night, which is very cool. And again, that's something that with the holidays coming up might be especially attractive for families as well. And again, one thing I know you might notice with all these that I was talking about is these bamboo fabric. And so it's actually not bamboo itself, which I looked into this. So it's bamboo derived viscose. And again, it is incredibly soft, breathable, stretchy, moisture wicking, which does make it very popular for kids' pajamas and baby stuff. And it's got a buttery feel, like I was saying. But there's a little bit of a misconception around it being completely, quote unquote, natural, because the bamboo does have to go through a pretty significant chemical process to become that soft. So I'm not sure what exactly that chemical process involves, but yeah, so sometimes it's all natural, yes, but kind of read between the lines and do a little bit more research. But I'm sure that the chemicals themselves are not part of the fabric anymore, but they're used in the processing of it. So I just felt that that was worth noting. But at any rate, did you have any in this particular line that stood out to you?
I like the colors. The design's fine, but I do like that gray, almost charcoal color that they've got for some of those.
Me too. Because again, it's a little subdued and understated, but yet it still does lean into that. And then I love the little skater dress for the girls, because I had skater dresses that I would wear to school and I absolutely loved them. They were so comfortable. And those I got from Her Universe and Hot Topic. So it's just kind of cool to see that the whole skater dress is still in style.
Very cool.
All right. So that will actually do it for this month's World Between Worlds. And thank you so much for joining us for episode 1076 of Podcast Stardust. And again, this episode of World Between Worlds. So before we go, I just want to say we hope that you've enjoyed the episode. And if so, please make sure to subscribe to Podcast Stardust on your podcatcher of choice. Dennis has done a great job of getting us literally everywhere. So if you are on a specific streaming service or podcatcher and you're not finding us, we need to know about it. And Dennis will definitely fix that. And I'd also like to remind you that you can find all episodes of the podcast on our homepage of retrozap.com. And RetroZap is also home to several other great podcasts. And I know some of them have some back catalogs right now, and some of them are a little bit more active. But we have Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Case Files, Animaticast, Brews and Blasters, Dork Lair, Dunecast, Enjoy Stuff, Love, Death, and Robots Plus, Superhero Suite, and Warp Trails. And as always, we greatly appreciate a 5-star rating and reviews on whatever podcatcher you use, and especially on Apple Podcasts. Please share the show and your favorite episodes on social media as well. And speaking of which, Dennis, what are those social media contacts one more time?
All right. So Facebook and Instagram, probably the two most active spots, are at Podcast Stardust on both platforms. There is a Pinterest page for Podcast Stardust. The shows are available on YouTube and YouTube Music in an audio-only format. And if you're looking for merch, then you can find us on TeePublic. There is a link in the bio for the show, which will be the easiest way to do it. And then if you want to email us, we can be reached at podcastartist@gmail.com.
Awesome. So coming up on the show, we have our regular news show coming up on Friday. And then on Monday, we will be continuing our review of the series The Ninth Jedi, featuring episode 4. And then on Wednesday is our next installment of the Darth Bane Book Club. So we hope that you will enjoy us or join us for all of those episodes and enjoy them as well. And thanks for listening, everyone. Have a great rest of your week. And until next time, may the force of Star Wars fashion and lifestyle be with you.